Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day, a brand new week. And this week, I thought I'd start out by looking at the Shema. Shema is a Hebrew word that begins a very important section of Deuteronomy chapter 6. The Shema is something that Israel was taught to not only say repeatedly, but to put it above their doors, to teach it to their children, and to really absorb it as a core fundamental idea that needs to be constantly said, because it needs to be constantly thought of and even constantly pursued. And so this idea is something that I think is worth all of us looking at. It begins in Hebrew, it's Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, Eloheinu, our God, is one. This is very profound on a number of different levels, and I don't begin to pretend to understand all of its depths. Nor could I put them into a 5-minute video thought for the day. But there are a couple of things that stand out that I do want us to concentrate on today as we begin our look at the Shema. First, it begins with the Hebrew word Shema. Shema means hear this, pay attention, absorb this. Let this be something that doesn't go in one ear and out the other. Let this be something that's real to you, something you chew on, you muse on it, you meditate on it. Hear, Israel. Now, Israel, Shema, Yisrael is the second word. This is all of God's people. This is not a commandment for the priests. This is not a commandment for the high priest. This is not a commandment for the judges. This is not a commandment for any subgroup. It's a commandment for all of Israel. Hear, pay attention, Israel. Adonai, which is the word that's used in Hebrew one of the words that's used in Hebrew when you come across God's name, because God's name is not to be said out loud. In most Hebrew practice, this goes back thousands and thousands of years. And so when you see the name of God in Hebrew, which is written with 4 letters, Yod, He, Vav, He, when you see that name, a good practicing Jew is not going to try to pronounce it. Instead, you just say Adonai, which means Lord, or you can say Hashem, which means the name. But here you say Adonai. So hear, O Israel, and then the name of God is our God, Eloheinu. So this is the word, the general word for God, and it's got attached to it this our. So the first point I'm making is pay attention to this, all of Israel. But the second point is that God, the personal God with his personal name, is our God. So the Shema speaks of relationship between God and all of his people. So all of his people are to see the personal God who revealed himself to Israel on Sinai, who revealed himself to Moses. Israel, all of God's people, are to see him as our God. And then this clause, this segment of the Shema continues to say, Adonai, again, the name of God, Echad, one. So pay attention, Israel. Adonai, the Jehovah God, the revealing God, is our God in relationship with us. And he is also one. not many gods, not, 16 or 1,000. God is a united, singular essence. And even as Christians, we understand that. That's the threeness of God. The Trinity is all still an understanding of one God. God is one. And this is the way the Shema starts. So you can say it in English today, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Or you could say it in Hebrew, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We'll look at the rest tomorrow, but this is your video thought for the day as we think about God.